over to you, Konrad, for your case study. This is one that I've been excited about, actually. So let's see what progress has been made over the last few weeks.
Perfect. Thanks, Henry. So let's kick off. So for the case study, and then let's see if the slide goes. Here we go. So for the problem statement for the case study, basically the hypothesis that I wanted to look at is in regards to retired people, and then the hypothesis I decided to pursue is to look for basically retired people losing the sense of purpose or fulfillment in retirement. So the statement made is many people feel unfulfilled, lose sense of purpose during retirement. And the kind of motivation to do it was basically from myself was to actually look into a real acute problem with some real implications for people. And also I was kind of interested in to look into the connection between the older generation and then the younger generation, and actually how both can mutually benefit each other by connecting, communicating, and basically enabling that flow of knowledge and skills both ways. And then from the Prod MBA kind of point of view and the extrinsic motivation, it was basically a challenge to jump in at the more deep end and have basically an area where I have no experience in, and I'm not part of that niche. So I actually really have to go and dig a little bit deeper. And also I started researching along the way in that area, looking at some books in regards to that intergenerational context, but also the kind of transition and then what people do in retirement and how can we support them. So that's the problem statement I tackled. And the first objective was to look at the problem market fit. So basically the goal here was to achieve problem market fit by validating that this really is an acute problem. So identifying that feeling unfulfilled and losing the sense of purpose is a real acute problem for retirees. So how we've done that? So we've done that for actually 9 user interviews, which I think 5 was the standard, but I really want to go deep into this one. 7 were with the target niche of people in that age group, and then 2 were actually outside of that niche group, but actually being connected to it. So I think what was the important outcome was that we have confirmed the acuteness of the problem, that it is really affecting people, and sometimes it's affecting it in quite serious ways in terms of mental health, and then how they cope with the second part of their life. What also was discovered was some actually root causes of that problem, and made me think, how can we potentially tackle it earlier before it happens through this potential solution. And then the other thing that was done was the validation of that through different channels. So I think what was interesting was that the outreach was done through the social media, through word of mouth. But the hypothesis that was first there, that potentially we would be targeting kind of ex-senior executives, niche, etc., was actually the complete opposite, because the senior executives that we would approach at on LinkedIn and so on, they actually didn't have that problem because they were very much already engaged in activities post retirement that were planned out for them often. So that was actually not the markets that we would need to target. So in terms of the kind of outcome from that, and here you can see the Miro page with all the summaries, and basically what was the main thing was actually the loss of purpose and then the value of at retirement, which was the kind of hypothesis we took. But also what came up, which hasn't been taken into account, is that transition. So is the transition and the change going into retirement and going into the unknown that caused a lot of problem, frustrations, and people being scared of taking that step. And other elements that were looked at was basically financial. So people actually potentially having financial problems and dropping in terms of lifestyle, having no support from anyone in retirement, often the case with no family support with some retired people. Also underutilization of skills, so not being able to utilize your skills after you retire, and then also that not knowing what skills you could use basically. So we kind of taken that and then combined that and then flipped it around into opportunities. So going from the problem to the actual offer market fit. So what we can see is going from the problems I just mentioned into the opportunities. So adding that value during retirement, enabling that planning to retirement, and showing those opportunities that could be there for you, giving you the ability to make extra money, enabling the contact with others during retirement, having that social interaction, helping you to identify your soft skills or the technical skills that you could share with others, and then also identify the gaps and then the learning opportunities that you might want. So what we're doing at this stage basically is doing the MVO, which is the minimum viable offer, which had a couple of alterations, going from a longer one to a final one that was decided and that was confirmed with the niche. So basically what we're trying to do with the offer is to enable retirees to match their skills and interests with exciting and fulfilling retirement opportunities. So although we're matching the skills and an interest with the opportunities, what we're actually doing is also all the stuff we talked in the background in regards to the loss of sense of purpose, the transition, the support, the financial, the underutilization of skills. And all of that we're trying to package into this one short MVO and then the offer that we could give to the customer. So in regards to how it could look and how it could feel, so we of course need to validate that. So what was done basically is created a branded page called Retirement Plus that was then shared with the niche with different campaigns, basically mainly through the channels that retired people might use, which is basically Facebook groups or next door campaigns in various groups. So the kind of numerical results were that there was 120 site visits, 21 people signed up for a potential waiting list for that solution. So that's 17.5% conversion, which is not bad for the product like that. And basically, what was further discussed was that the actually acuteness of the problem was confirmed through that 21 people. Further, 7 of them actually completing an onboarding survey, which gave even more information in regarding to that. Okay, this is a real problem because those are people from that I had never spoken to, found this online somehow on Nextdoor, and then now they're filling the survey and actually saying, yeah, this is exactly what is needed for both retired people, but also people transitioning into retirement. So what was done later was actually to validate that research and then see, okay, what is the business capability here? What is the actual product vision based on that? Is it a feasible solution based on those kind of discovery calls and also the feedback from the market? So we already kind of explained what the product would achieve to the group. They were interested. Now it's in regards to validating, okay, how will it actually look like. So the vision for the product is, in summary, if we look at the kind of boxes here, is that we help retiring or retired people achieve a new chapter full of meaning and enjoyment by matching skills and interests with personalized retirement opportunities. So the key focus here is to solve those retirees' internal core problems and its root causes with a differentiated product within the market that's not actually out there. So there isn't really a direct competitor for this, specific for retired people, that enables that transformation from the uncertainty, the fear, the low self-esteem, of people, either being unfulfilled in retirement or being uncertain before transitioning, and then actually moving into that story of fulfilling and meaningful retirement. So that was a combination of taking that feedback from those onboarding surveys, looking at the market, seeing where the differentiation is, which was quite difficult because it might be life coaches, it might be HR, it might be job posts on different websites that are not retired specific. it might be your local council or community. So there isn't really a thing that has it all, that is really narrowed for that niche. And what we've done is also looked at the product story canvas and then the hero journey to really show the transition from that low self-esteem, fear, uncertainty into that desired outcome of fulfilled retirement and actually, changing your life. So in order to proceed with that further, we need to see, okay, it's all good, the idea is great, but now we need to see how feasible and how viable it is to actually introduce. So in order the key results, so yeah, we had the quantitative results, which I just mentioned with the landing page visits and then filling out the survey. We had the qualitative approach from the initial interviews and then the survey results and then actually social media comments on like Nextdoor, people commenting that okay, this is a great idea. And then what we had later was basically to see how viable it is through a strategic roadmap. Okay, where could that lead? And a lean canvas in terms of monetization and actually looking at is it a feasible business idea or not. And then the last thing that was looked at is the customer journey map and then wireframing a potential solution and how this could look. So in order to do that, yeah, the outcomes were basically that the strategic roadmap and then the ideas of how the product could look and then what could be included in terms of some of the features was conducted. The good thing about that is that I think the power of the Prod MBA, that those elements were done with the group. So this was really powerful because we talked to the niche, we talked to the retired people, the people who are almost retiring. But now in terms of the solution, we're actually talking to other product managers who can test your feasibility and test your viability and will you be able to implement in a way you want to. So I think the key output here was to look at what you should look at and prioritize with an impact and effort matrix, which the matching and skills came really on top. The transition came on top as well, and then the marketplace idea to match those came as well, which gave us a strategy of 3 steps in terms of the development. The lean canvas enabled us to look at the revenue streams, how we can make money and make it actually feasible. Potentially it was discovered and was important to get the payment for it from the supply side rather than the demand side, meaning that the retired people wouldn't have to pay for the service. So how it transitioned was actually that going through that customer journey and designing that, we created the wireframes, which you can see down here, which were quite long. And I think, again, this is where the iteration comes and then the feedback comes not only from the niche, but then also from a group of product managers that can give you feedback as well. So you can see that the idea kind of grew and the potential was seen by everyone. And then suddenly we started to put all those options inside of it, which make it quite complicated and not user-friendly for the group. So quickly it went from so many screens for the basic solutions to me reducing it to literally 5 screens, giving the core value in just 5 screens, which was really useful before going further with any testing with retired people and then the customer, which was obviously the next steps, which is the product market fit. So what we're doing is validating that core value, one, that enables retirees to match their skills and interests with exciting and fulfilling retiring opportunities, and that they basically value it. So what we've done is had the 6 beta testers on board, utilize that with the contacts who signed up, prototype the Figma through the high experience customers. So basically, after the initial let's say feedback from them, we made some iterations already, which was great, and then we had the score. So now I'm going to show you that. So this is how the app looked. We utilized the campaign from the website to invite customers to test the app, which looks like that. Here's the link for it if you're interested, and then basically have an indication of what works in terms of the value, but also from the solution. So the results were, which was really good, is that we got 6 responses instead of 5. We got 1 person that would be very disappointed. We've got the rest of 5 people that was disappointed, somehow disappointed, and then no one said they were not disappointed. And I think the key here is for the ice cream truck.
I'll probably come near my house.
So I think the key here is that the type of people who are looking at, I think that confirmed was that they're either active retirees, which means that they're already retired but looking for activities, or they're transitioning. In terms of the things to keep doing, there was the positive feedback, was that the core value was confirmed. It was mentioned that the tool enables to take up the opportunities, to stimulate, to keep you active, to make more friends and give you the purpose. It shows that opportunities, knows what is out there for you, and what's out there actually for everyone. Have a call for action to book those opportunities. And then in terms of the improvements, they were actually just to evolve it, which was really good. So I think that to summarize it, the core value was achieved, and then the rest of the elements were to evolve that. So I think taking us closely to the finish now, I think for the next steps is to actually work on some of the no-code prototyping and the core improvements that were mentioned to make a fully functional prototype and re-evaluate that product market fit, and then actually take some of the feedback that was given, not only in terms of the solution, but actually taking it forward. So it was mentioned in regards to making some regional partners, or joining up with the government or with companies that would incorporate that into their processes to recommend this platform to retirees. And then the third element would be to incorporate that marketplace and actually enable retirees to also advertise their skills rather than just look at the advertisements that are made there by the suppliers, making a complete solution and product. So those would be as in regards to the next steps. And then so this is basically now summarizing the process, how we went from understanding the problem, ideating on that, validating the offer, prototyping, and learning from that before we make any decisions. And we are now at the stage where we're validating that case study, which was a great journey. And I think from the learnings, again, I can very much confirm that from kind of the 4 core elements of product management and becoming a better product manager through that experience, the product strategy, customer insight, product execution, and influencing people, all were very much improved throughout that process. So this would be all for me. So thank you very much, Henry,
Awesome.
for the experience, and looking forward to any questions.
I think that was the best of the whole cohort.
Oh, have we recorded that?
Apart from the ice cream chat, we have recorded it. Yeah, maybe we don't share that. No, that was very, very strong. Really, really strong. I'm going to go through why now, and then we'll talk about my sort of general comments, thoughts on how you've done, I think, over the 8 weeks, and then
should I stop sharing, or should I keep
go back to the first slide, and then as I go through them, go to problem.
Yeah.
As I go through them, just keep changing. I'll go through these quite quickly, so keep your hand ready. Awesome. So on the problem, I thought, nice. You had these screenshots as well of the books, adds a nice bit of storytelling. One of the only criticisms I would have, and you actually got into it more, but at the start, you didn't really emphasize the problem statement. So everything you said here was just the same tone. It's like, and here is the problem statement. Many people feel it's a massive thing to emphasize it. Imagine if you're presenting this to stakeholders, so important that they zoom in on this phrase. So you're going, here was the problem I started with. Silence. Yeah. Many people feel unfulfilled or lose a sense of purpose during retirement. So you're really emphasizing it. Yeah. Same thing with any of these, the vision, the MBA, these big key statements. It's my only criticism. So use silence and varied tone a little bit more. Yeah. And then you've got the full package with this. Good though, how you gave the context about, how you came to this problem. I thought it was really interesting, actually. And again, that's important because you're getting my curiosity at the beginning. So really strong. And same thing if you're doing this with stakeholders. Go to the next slide. On the objective 1, good explanation, simple things that are really powerful, like as you did, we use red to highlight the key bit of this phrase. Such a simple thing, it's really powerful. Great learnings that you shared here. You're really going to influence people effectively about product discovery itself, because you showed the value of the product discovery. You said we got to the root cause having done these 9 calls, and it was something a little bit different than we expected. So what are you doing? You're influencing stakeholders. You're showing, hey, my process works. This is why we're investing loads of time in discovery. Really powerful. Next one. Good Miro board. I loved how you just highlighted a few key frustrations on the right-hand side, right? Because nobody can see what's going on the board. It's good for them to see it though, because they can go, wow, Konrad's been busy. And excellent that you gave 1 or 2 specific examples from there. You read them out. It's really powerful because it helps them, helps them buy into the customer and the problem that you're looking at. Right? They're buying into that story. They're understanding it a little bit more deeply. If we go to the next one, on objective 2, I thought it's awesome that you showed it in this way, actually. What offer market fit is, you explained that clearly, i.e. opportunities for us to pursue. You showed that even more clearly by giving examples on the left. One thing I nearly was going to have a criticism, but when you mentioned the MVO and you just said the MVO, the minimal viable offer, and then I was like, he didn't explain what it actually is. Then you came in after and nailed it by explaining what we're trying to do with the offer and how we're packaging the problems into the MVO. Excellent, because people don't have a clue what that means. It's just a buzzword. So explain, what are we actually doing with it? One, that's important because they're actually going to understand what you're talking about. Secondly, it shows that you deeply understand what we're actually doing with all this stuff, right? You've actually learned what we've tried to teach you, which is great. On this as well, just go to the next slide. Also, you put the visuals next to the key results. You talk through the key results. The one thing you could have improved upon, you did this really, really well with the survey. You qualified it. You said, this is great, actually. The conversion was really good, and it validated the acuteness of the problem. You could have done that a little bit better with the the site conversion. You said, yeah, it wasn't bad. 17.5% is actually very good. So just qualify that. Be like, right, random people, we just literally had a free landing page. Actually, we got really good conversions to them. It was a really good indicator, because then the story's building up momentum, because after you go then, then we got even better validation through the survey sign up. So again, what are you doing? You're going to be influencing stakeholders, getting them to really buy into this, get them excited as well. If you go to the next page, this was the best part of the presentation. I thought the vision page, absolutely excellent, good visuals, great how you talked about the USP of the vision. So important. Like, why is this statement important for us as a company, as a team? You said, hey, we need it to be unique. You talked about why. And then it was awesome as well, like the blue ocean, for example. You talked about the challenges of the competition and why it's diverse, and it's not just the obvious ones, but actually these existing alternatives. And by putting it all together, you showed how these frameworks were helping us come up with a strong USP. So that was excellent. If you go to the next screen, interesting observation for me about how you talked about if you went on to the next one even, talked about the power of bringing somebody external into the strategic roadmap. So to come in, look at things really objectively when it comes to solution. That, it's not something I thought about actually, and it's very true. It's obvious when you point it out. So that was great.
I think that was like some, because you were, let's say, locked into that one element, and then now you get a completely new feedback on the same thing.
And that's a great learning for you in future, right? Is don't get excited about solutions. Maybe bring someone external in, or at least look at things really objectively before jumping into solution. That's great. Awesome. Again, you showed the key results below. Everything you did, you qualified really well. It's like, here's the visual and here's how it's helping me tell a story to me as the person listening to presentation. Lean Canvas would be the one thing I would improve in terms of content. Obviously we've got time pressure, but maybe going into a bit more detail about the business model, because that's going to be the big question that your manager, your stakeholders are going to be wondering. If you're pitching yourself for an interview, they want to know, yeah, great, you're good at discovery, but also you've got a business brain as well. I think that's something that to bring in future. Onto the wireframes. Awesome. Great. So really satisfying for me to see that you cut down, because I saw the first one, they were bulky. It was a bit messy. It was great to see that you came to that realization yourself actually and started cutting it down. Onto the product market fit engine. This was great, by the way, crystal clear. If you go to the next slide already. Sorry, the next one, market fit. This looks cool, by the way. Again, great, really clear presentation here. I thought these are excellent results. I mean, again, the result, not just your presentation was good, but the results were very strong, the best of the cohort.
Because I think, and this was changing in the last couple of days, because what I had here originally was kind of the feature results, and then the stuff that kind of what features people love. But then I kind of took a step back, and I actually had the call yesterday, and actually the results of the survey were look, if this all works, the value is there, and that's the important thing, so exactly. I kind of took the step back, and I say, look, it's all good with the features, but the value is there. This kind of, for me, for that person, was like life-changing, so
exactly. And I was exactly, my point was going to be, you've clearly got problem market fit, you've got offer market fit, and it looks like you've got good early indications of product market fit if you can deliver the solution, right? That's the next big question. So you've done the hard part, actually. Even with the ice cream truck, you stayed focused, which is nice. I heard it earlier as well a little bit. The roadmap I thought was very good. It showed a lot, product maturity there. I think you thought it through. You didn't just copy what we suggest in the content, which was really good.
And I think also, just to add on the roadmap, this was adapted versus what we kind of had a couple of weeks back on the original one. So this is adapted after the calls now with the PMF engine,
Awesome. And again, that's so good, because it shows you're being, people talk about customer centricity, but they maybe do interviews in the first few weeks and they never do them again. This is great. This is a lifetime habit I want you to be in, constantly revisit. And then process and learnings, excellent. They're really nice. Again, you thought them through, everything showed a maturity, which is really great to see. Zooming out now. I think just general feedback, Konrad. Honestly, I'm not pretending. I'm always super honest with these calls, but I've been really, really impressed with you across the whole program. Right, everything you've done. The case study is strong. You went at a completely new niche you didn't have experience with. The work itself was very good, right? Discovery work was really strong, and that's been shown now by the results you're getting. So excellent. In terms of the sort of also the live sessions we're doing, like, you're always coming in with great ideas. You're super involved. Really good team player, and I think these are just really strong. It's a really strong foundation for you as a product person. I think also as a leader, you don't have to be loud and have to all these tone of voice and the exciting things that I was talking about, right? To be good at leadership, you can also have more your style, which is sort of a calmer, more logical person, but that was also very good at sort of gathering people together and generating good ideas. So I think you got really good future ahead of you in product. In terms of next steps, I think the next step is building this out. So I think going with the no code. I think the one thing to watch out for is revenue, right? So, you want to, not quite yet, but when you get that no code up and running, you've got people actually using it. What's that business model, and experimenting with a few different business models to see how you might generate revenue. I think those are the next steps. What are your thoughts? Because also there's building this out. It's great. It's going to build your skill set as a product person, but also we want you to be applying stuff at work, right? What do you feel the next steps for you with that?
So I think this definitely is an interesting option, because the potential is there, and I think some of the kind of calls that I had was that basically you need to keep it basic in terms of, let's say, what it offers, but then you need to expand on the kind of amount of opportunities that are there, and potentially expand the number of suppliers and expand the number of things that are there. So what was also suggested is to kind of try doing it from kind of a regional level, that basically try having those kind of champions in different areas that kind of support you doing that. So have some, let's say, active retirees who would be joined up on this and then promoted within their region or within their community and so on. So I think the growth element in a certain area, let's say, you know, Richmond or Putney or stuff like that, and having, you know, people who would support you there to grow it, but at the same time growing the platform and doing the technical aspects of it, I think that would make it, you know, a reality potentially.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a really good idea, actually. Yeah, I'd start really local, and then see where you go from there.
Yeah,
but I think that's it. You know, I'd say focus on this. I think whatever happens with building this idea out, it's just going to be really good experience for you.
Yeah,
you never know where it leads, right? So yeah, look, I think next steps is keep cracking on with this. We are going to be carrying on with the sort of open Q&As as well, or ask me anything.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do as a specific next step actually is for us to check in. Well, I'd like you to message me next week saying which no code you're going to decide on using.
Yeah,
I can give you some suggestions, but it's in some of the bonus videos. So I'm going to link two suggestions that I would start looking into, see if it suits your needs.
Yeah.
Let me know next week what you decide upon. And then in a month's time, I'd like you to join the AMA in, let's say, 4 weeks. So we could do a bit of a progress update and see how you're doing with that.
Yeah. No, I think there'll be a logical, you know, next steps, and then see where can it take it and how it can evolve. But yeah, definitely you know, a great experience. So, you know, thanks to big thanks to you and then Ross for supporting. Yeah, so I think, you know, when looking back, looking at the 4 pillars, I think, you know, even I thought, okay, potentially I'm already good at kind of customer insight and stuff like that. Well, I think I took it even to the next level, you know. So
no, 100%.
Which I thought, you know, when I was joining, potentially, okay, so you know, customer insight I got ticked already, so I'm going to focus on the other areas. But actually, you know, I evolved in all of them, which was great.
Nice. That's good to know. Sounds like we're doing our job right.
Yeah, and I think, you know, just adding on to, also on that kind of validating with the cohort, I think that was really useful as well. There was a session, if you remember, we had a 1-to-1 and we went through the lean canvas live, and we went through the kind of roadmap live. I think that was super useful, you know, to do that with, let's say, people from around the cohort that are potentially fresh, because, you know, you're already in that for, let's say, 4 weeks or 3 weeks at that point, and then suddenly there's a fresh pairs of eyes that supports you. So I think maybe good to continue in future cohorts to kind of incorporate that even more.
Yeah, that's good advice, actually.
Yeah.
No, also, as I said, you know, honestly, pleasure having you on the program, because I think you're exactly the kind of person we want, like just hardworking, but also, you know, coming to the table with good ideas, helping other people out. And as I said, I think you've got a good future ahead of you. So let's do that as a next step then. Right, I want next week, see where you're at with the no codes, and then we'll check in properly in a month's time and go from there.
Perfect. Good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Henry. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye-bye.